Hi, everyone. It's Cristie Karsten here. We are doing live on StreamYard and syndicating to you guys. This is Cristie Karsten with the Karsten Real Estate team doing Jacksonville Talk Live, all things real estate. I have Jamie Holmes here as our guest speaker with Movement Mortgage.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie Holmes. I work with Movement Mortgage. Just a little bit of background about myself. I've been doing mortgages for 12 years somehow. Don't know quite how that's happened. It wasn't a complete mistake, falling in this industry, but I love it. I'm currently in the top 1% in the country in closed volume and number 3 in the region for my company, which is Movement. So I'm very happy to be here. Love talking about real estate. Here to answer any questions people might have about loans, interest rates, all the above.
That sounds great. Thanks, Jamie, for joining us. We'll kind of wait a few minutes here and wait for a few people to come on here because I believe, let's see here. Looks like we have a couple of people on here. I think Jamie, it's just you and me right now. If anybody's here out there, if you can put in the comments, post in the comments where you're from. I think the two people are me and you. So we can kind of wait. We're supposed to be having a good bit of people come in today. I've got a lot of people that said they would be here, so. Okay, so we just went live now on LinkedIn. And JP, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
That's all right. It's just me and you, JP, and you. It's just us right now until we got a third person. That third person is actually going to be JP, I believe. That we have a little bit of a hiccup, it looks like, with Facebook. I'm not going to worry about it too much. We are live on LinkedIn right now, and we also live on YouTube. So we do have Ken. Hi, Ken. Thanks for joining us. All righty. So we do have the three of us here. So we are going to be talking. We are real estate experts. I'll tell you a little bit about us. Karsten Real Estate Team, small boutique brokerage here in Jacksonville, Florida area. Been doing real estate for a little over 15 years, run a small team, and we are all over Jacksonville. We run from everywhere from the beaches to into the South Side area and a lot in St. John's, which is one of our hottest areas of the Jacksonville area. So we are going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about the market today. We're going to talk about what's going on. That's the burning question I think everyone has is what's going on with the market. I know, Jamie, you're getting that quite a bit, right? I mean, it's just like the burning question about what's going to happen to interest rates.
Everybody wants to know about the interest rates. What are they right now? Where are they going? When are they coming down? What can I afford? How does the pre-approval process work? All that kind of fun stuff.
There's a lot of fun stuff. So you guys, we're here to educate you and kind of be here as a source. I'm here. I'm certainly an expert in real estate in our market, and Jamie is certainly an expert in his space as well. You can't have a home most of the time without the money. So super important. We are here to have any questions answered. As we have people join, we'll kind of wait a few minutes. Thanks for joining us, Ken. And if you ever have any questions about the real estate or anything going on, you guys certainly mention it in the comments and we will get to your answers. We are monitoring that as well. And this is also going to be recorded so we can put this out there for other people to see later. We will also be talking about the areas of Jacksonville, some of the greatest areas, a lot about our beaches, a little bit about what's going on in October for a calendar of events in Jacksonville. And all good stuff. So I can dive into this here soon. I know that, how are you seeing things, Jamie, in the market right now? Are you seeing that things are a little bit slower, or are you kind of, how are things working?
I think that, I think with most loan officers like myself, I think everyone's production's down like around at least 30%. I mean, and that is a direct cause and effect of interest rates being over 7%. And then what you're having right now is you have a lot of buyers that are on the fence, right? And they're concerned about, again, with the rates over 7%, should I try to buy a house now, or do I wait and then see what's going to happen with the rates if they're going to drop next year? And
so
I ask this question all the time. So I go, what's a better scenario for you? Would you rather get into the house now where the rate might be a little bit higher and you can look to refinance next year? But right now the seller might be willing to help with closing costs. And there's other programs I'm going to talk about to try to help combat the higher interest rates. Or do you want to wait? Let's say the rates drop down to 5.5 next year. Then every single buyer that's been waiting all jumps back into the market at the same time. And then just like 2 years ago, we're in the multiple offer situation. People are going in over the asking price. They're waiving the inspection period, waiving the appraisal, and it just turns into a nightmare where people are, then upset they're paying $40,000, $50,000 over the asking price.
You'll touch on that more with us for sure. And that is a very big topic that we're having right now is, the market, and should I buy now? Should I wait till later? So that's a big burning question right now. And honestly, my thoughts with buyers is we, in over 2 years, we've not had, as a buyer, have had this much negotiation power as we've had in the past. So right now, buyers are coming in and we're getting, things for our buyers like, buy downs, paying closing costs. Their sellers are negotiating on prices. And we're going to talk about some of the things. Looks like we've got a few more people joining us here. I wanted to wait and have a few more. If you guys could comment in the comments, let us know where you're from. We would love to know who's here visiting us and joining us live. We're talking all things real estate and mortgages and what's going on in the market. So it's super important, some of the information that we're going to talk about. So we can dive right in. Now that we have a few people on board. We're brand new at doing this, so thank you for joining us. This is a lot of fun. And, I think as a real estate company, it's so important to have guest speakers like Jamie. He's a loan officer with Movement Mortgage. He's super duper experienced, been doing this a long time. So having him here is extremely important because, like I said earlier, a lot of times people just are on the fence because they don't know what they don't know. They need to talk to a loan officer if they have any thoughts of buying. But let's dive into the market. Let's talk about it a little bit. So again, shout out to on the comments and let us know where you're watching us from. We will be able to, we're the only ones that I believe we'll see it on the side here. Again, new at doing this. So let me jump into some of the slides I have here. I wanted to kind of go over with you guys. So I'm going to put this up here. This is our Jacksonville Talk Live. The Karsten Real Estate team will be doing a live event every couple of weeks and going to be bringing guest speakers. This week we have Jamie Holmes, which is extremely important, and probably joining us often, so that way he is giving his expert advice about mortgages, because I really think people want to know about mortgages, what's going on with the interest rates, what's going on with the market, and who is better to ask that than the money guy. So, I'm going to talk about a few things that is extremely important that we're hearing about right now, and we all know it. For those of us that are here in Florida, we are feeling it. For those of us in different states, we're all feeling it. People are making all this moves post-COVID. So right now, you can kind of see that this is a migration schedule. I love it. I think it's so cool to see this, and it's kind of, we've been feeling it. We know it, actually in my industry. I know in Jamie's industry as well. But what is important about this slide, guys, is look at the blue over to the left. This is areas, this is a national chart from Redfin. It is a true data. It's data that's come out. So it's not something I just made. It's data that's that is being tracked all over the nation. And so people are coming from these blue areas here from up north. You can kind of see, of course, we've all known that California is moving here. We've got all of these northern states. New York is obviously Jersey. All these areas here are where are they going? So you can kind of see the migration. And guys, look what's number one, Florida. So, and like I said, we're seeing it, we're feeling it. How are you experiencing with your buyers? Are they a lot of relocations from other states?
I would say so especially in the last 2 years, especially when COVID was happening and its peak, there was just a massive influx of people from the north. And I know everyone loves no state income tax in the state of Florida. That's always a big driver. But another thing that happened was the employers then had to start telling everyone hey, you can work from home. And when they said that you could work from home, then people said, I think I'm going to change where my home is. And it opened up the floodgates for people moving to Florida who could now work remotely, which is always an issue before when people are hey, I want to buy a home in Florida. Well, unless you are working remotely or live here, you can't buy a primary residence. Totally opened up the gates. So many people took advantage. A lot of people moved down here, and very thankful during that time that it was happening.
And they keep on coming. They keep coming. So it's definitely changing the trajectory of our market. It's also bringing prices up. We do still have low inventory. I kind of show you, these are a chart here, top 10 areas people are moving from. I find this quite interesting as well. So it kind of gives you, this is the data here, just in a short period of time throughout the nation and different areas that they're moving. And remember, they're moving from those light, darker yellows to oranges. So this isn't just to Florida, but it's just talking about the migration schedule. When you do see these darkers, then start moving, they're moving from and then flowing to these colors in this chart. So, moving on into this area, it just kind of gives you a little food for thought, right? And it's kind of, I find this surprising that Denver, Colorado is such a cool area. So I'm surprised to see people moving from Colorado, but that is in the top 10 areas. So cool data here on the Karsten real estate team, and also Jamie with Movement. We're always studying this financial data. It is so important as real estate agents and loan officers to know this stuff, right? Because this is our gig, right? We're in the trenches with this stuff, and with buyers and sellers, they want to know this stuff and who they're going to be potential buyers, marketing and things like that. So, right now, let's talk about the real estate data for what's going on. Median sales prices year over year. This is a 4-week trend taking from 2020 to 2023. And, a lot of sellers are on the fence and thinking, oh gosh, the market is resetting, or, you really have to look at the data, guys, because 2020, this was the trend over a 4-week period of time, over the months here. Excuse me, this is a 4-week rolling average of medium sales price homes each month. So you can see each month that 4-week data strolled all through the year of 2020. So at the end of the day, since 2020, I'd say it's a far cry from being the real estate industry going into any crashing points. We were down here, and at the end of the day, we're way up here in 2023 when you look at the orange at the top. So you go from the gray to the orange. That is a significant number that has increased in a short period of time. And you can look at the chart as well. Again, this is typical data, just extremely interesting data.
And that goes to when I talk about people, the cost of waiting, right? So people are well, the rates are high, so the prices it's got to go give and take. But right now in our market, with an inventory still being low, people think that the price can come down, but instead the price is going to increase. So we have that big talk all the time.
You have a chart on that. Don't you have some data on that you wanted to show us?
Yeah, well,
Jamie?
the cost of waiting, you know, they're talking about the average appreciation is 7% for next year. That's what they're predicting. So the cost
Okay.
for waiting, if you're going to wait to get into a new house, like a couple of things are coming into play, unfortunately, for you. So you're going to have the cost of waiting being like you have your down payment and your closing costs and your monthly mortgage. But if you're waiting, then you're missing on equity that could happen right now. Because if the same
Absolutely.
house is going to cost you $50,000 more in 2024, what did we really lose out on? And sometimes
Yeah.
people just have a hard time understanding that they think the prices are going to drop, but right now there's still low inventory. That's just not going to happen right now.
One of my top producer agents mentioned something to me earlier, and she said that in 2 years period of time, we have more negotiation power than we've ever had. And that kind of struck with me because it's so true. We have right now as buyers, you know, that are on the fence, you know, they have that whole notion, buy the house, marry the rate. There's something to be said about that because the house right now, we have negotiation power. You can buy the house. Sellers are still, this chart proves it, that sellers are still getting great prices for their homes. They're not getting, a $50,000 appreciation anymore. The times of anomaly year has the unicorn year, I think we all call it, is in the past. So we're adapting to the times and change right now. And so waiting is, one of those things. As soon as those rates go down, like Jamie was saying, guys, we're going to be back. And because of this chart here, and this is all just data and common, because of this chart here, we have buyers and people wanting to be here in Florida. And so you wait. And as a buyer, you're going to be back into these multiple offer situations. So I just want to give you some food for thought on that.
They say that for every 1% that the interest rate drops, 5.5 million more buyers enter the market. So if I'm trying to buy a home, I want to compete against less. I do not want to be in multiple offer situation where you have to go highest and best, and then you go over asking price. I'd rather be able to at least negotiate to get some of my closing costs paid for. And probably right now, I'd say over half the contracts I receive, the seller is contributing towards a person's closing costs, or they're helping them do on the temporary buy down programs, which I'll show a few information about that later on. But
and were they doing that 2 years ago?
Absolutely not. They didn't have to.
Year and a half? Nope. So anyways, this is just, we hope you guys are learning something. I noticed we have a few more people that have joined on. If anybody could do a shout out for us on the chat, in the chat box. We'd love to know where you're from and who you are. If you have any questions at all through this discussion, please join in. We like this to be engaging with our audience and people out there. It just helps us. We are experts in our field, so throw it at us. We can give it back and answer any questions you have. This data here kind of goes into the pending sales. This is a 4-week slide. As far as data, 13% year over year. And showing the differences. Again, the colors, you kind of see this chart's a little different because it starts at the top at 2021 and then goes to 2023. So you can kind of see the trends of what's going on as far as how much pending sales have gone down. And the pending sales are not prevalent as they were in 2021, 22. It's actually gone down. We are seeing since 2011 price, 11-year low right now in pending sales because of this whole perfect storm of our inflation and interest rates and things like that. So that's why the stabilization of these home prices is super important because I know that it's, this is helping reset the market. It's unfortunate scenario, not unfortunate, but it's just one of those things that we all adapt to in the real estate industry. And then this is the average asking price, and this all kind of flows together. you can see that market's doing a reset in 2022. If you see that red, guys, it's getting to a balanced market of what we should be at or what the market is supporting, right? So we are supporting this new price range of averages here of, 300, 350. But then look at the nation is trying to still ask, if you go up to 2023 in the orange, they're trying to ask the higher prices the next year. And if you look at the graph, the difference between the red and the orange, not sure the resetting market. And that's why we've got more homes sitting on the market, because sellers have not quite digested quite the fact that maybe what is moving. And again, look at the back in 2020 as sellers, you're making so much money on your home. You've got so much equity either way. It's just a little bit of a mindset thing that you have to kind of start digesting. So,
well, what have you seen? Like, what have you seen this year for yourself and your team? Where like are most of the sales that you have when you're the listing agent, are you guys getting close to full ask? Is it full ask? Multiple offers?
We're not.
Do you think
it's got to be priced right. I mean, that is the biggest thing.
Exactly.
I have a new listing in Beachwalk, and and it's going live the first week of October, and we had to have a Zoom call in that discussion and have to show her the data to say, hey, this is where we're at. So it's got to be priced right. And if it is priced right ahead of the market, it's going to get multiple offers potentially. There's so much strategy, but if it's being priced high, like those charts are showing, we're going to be sitting on the market. And it's not just, this is a national data. Those homes are going to sit on the market because people are trying to ask those asking prices at that higher level than what the previous market, that red chart showed, proved it as data from 2023, or excuse me, 2000.
Do you get asked a lot by sellers, like when you're doing your listing presentation, they're like, listen, we had another realtor tell us that they could sell it for $50,000 more, and we're just going to price it at that, and we're just going to see what happens. We're just going to put it out there. Do people say that still? They still kind of that mentality?
And I think realtors do that too. Realtors will say that's test the market. And you have to be still careful about that, because you have to test it with a very small ratio of what your expertise would recommend, because what happens is you end up pricing down, and then your home listing goes stale. And so you want to make sure, again, it's so key to, look at the data, look at the comps, and it really just depends on how much time you have. But we're listing homes to sell them, and our job is to get the most amount of money for somebody.
Sure.
But yeah, we do get people all the time. And you do have real estate agents that will come in and say, the home will price, way higher and I can get it. But then there's not a shred of evidence or documentation in this data. So again, if you're studying this data and you know it so well, it's, it's easier to explain this stuff to the sellers. And then I ultimately brainstorm with my sellers and say, it's up to you. Let's make this decision together. Like, let's brainstorm this. And ultimately, they kind of see the data and expertise and thinking, gosh,
I always think like one of the confusing things to me would be like, if I'm a seller and the first thing that a listing agent tries to come and do a presentation, they're like, listen, I'm going to cut my commission to 1%. If someone immediately just cuts their commission to me, then I'd be like, this person's probably not going to negotiate to get me the best deal. If they don't even want to present themselves to get themselves the best deal, why would I believe that they will do that on my own behalf? I never understand that mentality. Like if someone's like, oh yeah, absolutely. I'll just cut my commission down. We'll put it out there. I was like, I never understand that mentality.
Yeah. Well, you have that, you have to show your value and your worth, and you have to sit down and go over that with your sellers and say, this is what we're doing for you. And so that's where the value proposition comes in to say, hey, let's talk about it when it comes to, the commission talk. Because it always comes up. It does come up. I mean, it's going to come up. And it's just like you, Jamie, with the closing costs. You're dealing with, closing costs as well with people. So
those are the top two questions I get. What is your interest rate? What's your closing cost? Before we even do an application, I'm like, that's like walking into a restaurant and going to the waiter and be like, what's my bill going to be? Like, I have no idea. I don't even know what you ordered yet. Like, how would I know the answer to that question yet?
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's talk about some of the questions you get. I know I had some, one of the challenges you have, I know, as a real estate agent, when you're going out, one of the most important things is to know about, getting your application done. So I'm going to add, we have.
So one of probably the most frequent question I get is always about pulling my credit. Are you going to pull my credit? Is this going to be a hard credit pull? What goes in my credit scores? Why is your score less than what I see online? So, pulling credit, it's the biggest domino in the application process, because we as a lender, we have to see what your current credit scores are, and we need all three of them, right? An interest rate is qualified off the lowest mid credit score between all applicants on the application. So I'll have borrowers, if they have their credit frozen, that's one of my first questions. Like, do you have your credit frozen right now? Which is totally fine. A lot of people do it. I was like, you got to get it unfrozen first before I can go in there and see what your credit scores are. And the next question will be, is this going to bring down my credit scores? And I was like, it does affect your credit by a few points. That is 100% accurate. However, a consumer cannot have access to the same credit scores and pulls that we do in the mortgage world. The reason is because there's 8 different algorithms alone used in the mortgage world to pull credit through. So even if me and Wells Fargo pull your credit the exact same time, we are not going to get the exact same scores because there are different algorithms used. And people are like, what makes up my credit score? Which is why we're looking at this chart right now. And so when you're looking at this, you're trying to understand like your payment history and amounts owed make up the majority of what your credit score comes from. And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know it's going to go all the way back. I'm like 100%. Like they want to know, since you started attaining credit in your young adulthood, have you been making payments on time? Did you miss any payments? And how much of the credit limit are you using? People don't know that even if you're paying your credit card off every month, right? If you go up to 50% of your credit limit, it negatively affects your credit. In a perfect world,
you want to be under that, right?
Yeah, you want to be 30% or less is like the dream world, right? They want to see, do you have a good payment history? Are you keeping on your credit limits? So sometimes with borrowers, when we're talking about getting your credit improved, we'll talk about stretching your credit limit. Like, let's stretch it both ways. Let's pay down a little bit and increase the credit limit amount. That way you're always under that 30% threshold, and it helps.
Awesome.
But in the mortgage world, we got, and another thing that people don't know is that we expect you to probably talk to 2 or 3 lenders, right? You're going to shop around. You want to make sure you're getting the best deal. And so you basically have like a 30-day window to get your credit built by 2 or 3 people. It only counts as one M1, one mortgage credit pool on your credit. And the credit bureaus understand that when someone's buying a home, they're probably going to talk to more than one person. So it's just like a lot of food for thought, because people freak out and they're like, Jamie, you just brought down my credit score by 30 points. I'm like, Credit Karma, free credit score, free credit reporting, none of that is based upon you buying or borrowing money. So it's not taking into effect all of your collections, any lates that you have. It's totally different. You're never comparing apples to apples. It's a really big misconception that I get a lot of questions about. And credit's really good for about 90 days. So I tell people, like, we're not just automatically going to re-pull your credit. If you find a house 5 months down the road, once you're ready to make an offer, then I will re-pull your credit just to make sure nothing has happened that could then disqualify you from getting a loan. So
that's awesome. You have, I'd love to hear some more about the programs or anything that you have. I know that one of the biggest challenges we've been talking about is, especially my first-time home buyers, and I have younger kids, eventually going to be getting out into the field and wanting to buy a home, and the challenges here with the rate and different things. So they need all the things out there.
Listen, like we're feeling everyone's pain too, right? Like these interest rates, what can we do to try to help lower our payments? And that's where we're talking about temporary buy down programs. And so there's really 3 different ones. There's a 2-1, a 1-0, and a 3-2-1. And basically what this means is that the most popular one that I have is the 2-1 buy down. That's the slide that's up there right now. And what a 2-1 buy down means is that literally for the first year of the mortgage, let's say if the rates right now are 7.375, right, for a 30-year fix. That means on year one, the interest rate that would be used for the principal and interest would be 5.375. Year two, it goes to 6.375. And then years 3 through 30 go to that 7.375 for the payment. But the best part is that we all expect to refinance you within the first 2 years. So the point is that you're getting this lower payment for 24 months. And before it goes to the big 7.375, we expect to refinance you into a lower interest rate on a 30-year fixed. So we're trying to
hoping for that. We're all kind of hoping for a little bit lower interest rates into next year, but it's not guaranteed. But
it's not. Right now the projections are by the second quarter of 2024, rates will come down. Now, I wish I had a magic ball that could say that. I would be doing some crazy stuff. I would see the future, but that's just what they're projecting. So we don't know the answer to that, but we know that this program within 24 months, bringing down your payment, helps alleviate that pain. And I literally was just this is a live scenario that I put together today for a borrower. So I think like the median house price is around 500 in Jacksonville. And the house they're looking at was $499. This is someone that's putting down 5%. And it's kind of just showing you the breakdown of the different type of payments that you can see, especially on the 2-1 buy down the middle there, how much lower the payment's going to be from $32.74 going down all the way to $29.57 for year one, $26.54. So a lot of savings are there, and the seller can help cover this cost. So you see on this example, the 2-1 buy down is going to cost $11,235. But if the seller is covering that cost for you as a buyer, it's a home run. There's literally no risk. You're going to take advantage of a lower payment for 2 years, and the seller's picking up that cost. It's a no-brainer.
This is like gold, guys. And you know what? If anybody has any particular scenarios, I know this is probably all a blur when you're looking at this little chart and but all we're saying, this is a really cool, brilliant product that they came out with to help alleviate some of that first couple of years of blunt, and then if the interest rates go down. But it also, people starting new jobs, they get raises over a couple after a couple of years, things like that. So Jamie is going to have his contact information as well below, and you can see it here. I know it's probably small on your screen.
Yeah, I'm going to put in the comment section. I think I'll be able to put my email. Cell phone,
definitely do that, because he can work on scenarios for you guys, because this is for one of his particular borrowers. He works scenario, and this is just one of the small highlights of the programs. I was a loan officer for 8.5 years, so it's certainly extremely important. Before I got into real estate, been in real estate for over 15 years now, but it's so important to align yourself with people that are experienced and have these products, and will take the time with you as a buyer to work these different scenarios, because this may not be your scenario, but there's so many, right? There's so many products.
We have a question from Ken who's asking, if you do a refinance in 2 to 3 years, will you be paying very similar closing costs, right? So it's a very great question. So since we, like at Movement Mortgage, the company that I work for, we service our own loans. So when you go to refinance, we do not charge any lender fees. We do not charge any prepaids. Why? Because we're already servicing the loan. So your cost will probably be between like $3,000 to $5,000, but it would be substantially higher if you were going with someone that's not servicing the loan, because they got to set up a new escrow account. They're going to charge their origination fees to make the money on the buyer. So your closing costs will definitely be less when you refinance. And even more important about these 2-1 buy down programs, let's say you refinance after year one, part of that money that's being put up front into the escrow account then gets used as a principal reduction on the new refinance that we put you into. So again, the money doesn't go to waste. If you refinance within 2 years, the additional funds that are left over are going towards a principal reduction on the new loan that we refinance you into. another reason why it's like a no-brainer. Like, especially if the seller's paying for it, it's a great program to take advantage of.
Thanks, Ken, for the question. We love any questions you guys want to throw at us. We'll give it to you.
But you have, you have another question, because you're talking about like first-time home buyer programs, right? Because that's one of the main questions I get after talking about interest rates and stuff. Like, what programs are available to try to help first-time home buyers? So there's different programs through the state, and through each company has their own programs. We have one at Movement that I'll talk about here shortly. But the first thing is always defining a first-time home buyer. And that is just someone that has not owned a property in the last 3 years. So some people sold their house 4 years ago, they've been renting, and then they say like, oh, Jamie, like I'm not a first-time home buyer, so I can't take advantage of those programs. That's not correct. That's not how you are defined by the state and with lenders. Not owned a property in the last 3 years, you are a first-time home buyer. You can take advantage of the programs. There's different programs to the state of Florida that will give you closing costs and down payment assistance. Right now, the highest one is through the bond program. It gives you $10,000 towards your down payment and closing costs. We at Movement, we have a separate program. It's called the Movement Boost. This is for FHA financing. So an FHA home buyer is going to put down 3.5%, and we are going to grant you that money. We're going to give you the 3.5% for the down payment, and we can also give you 2% towards your closing costs. If you're a first-time home buyer, have to have at least a 620 credit score. There's other parameters in play, but that's just another program that's available to try to help people, just deal with inflation.
I get so excited about this kind of stuff. I just did a TikTok yesterday on this very topic, that it's probably easier to buy a home than people realize. You just have to have the right loan officer that cares to put you in a product that's going to help you, and a real estate agent that's an expert this kind of stuff. So, guys, if I have any of my first-time home buyers or people watching this video, certainly reach out to myself, and we can certainly help you. And it probably is a lot easier than you think, because it's so scary to think about. I mean, if we've got this kind of program, it makes me happy, because again, I have younger kids that are going to be buying homes before we know it. So this is a great product to know about. Thank you.
I mean, it's the biggest financial, purchase that most of us will make in our lifetime. And I know it can be scary. You just gotta have someone sit down with you, see what your mortgage goals are, and get a game plan together. But there's definitely more ways to get into a home.
We have 10 people on here right now. If you guys could do a quick shout out for us in the comments box, and just let us know where you're listening from.
Ken had another question. He's asking, do veterans usually get significant interest rate reduction compared to a non-veteran? So in my opinion, the VA loan is the strongest loan possible. I say that because the interest rates are usually lower on VA loans as opposed to FHA or conventional or USDA. There's no down payment necessary, and there's no mortgage insurance attached. So it's the strongest loan product, and anyone should take advantage of it that obviously is a veteran or retired. But I think it's the strongest. It's always going to have a lower interest rate than conventional and FHA.
Good question, Ken. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and most lenders that you'll find, like myself at Movement Mortgage and other lenders, that usually we will waive our origination fees. So for people who don't know, origination fees are like the processing underwriting fees that most lenders charge to basically do the loan. But we will waive ours just because as a company, that's kind of how we roll, where we're trying to save veterans as much money as possible. And we also give an additional lender credit on top of that just because they are a veteran. So a lot of companies will try to do everything we can for those who served our country. And again, makes it another reason why it's such a strong, loan product.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Ken, again, for another great question. Well, let's dive a little bit into Jacksonville and what we're all about, and talk about maybe our beaches a little bit, and kind of change it up a little bit. So let's talk about our beautiful city here. I'm going to jump right in. And we've got 10 people on here. We may have some people that are out of state or people, this is going to be streamed. This is being streamed live, but it's also going to go on YouTube. So we want to inform you about our beautiful area and our state. So
I saw that like there was something where Jacksonville Beach was like one of the top vacation spots, you know, and I love that. I say that selfishly because I have 5 Airbnbs in Jacksonville Beach. So I always want as many people as possible to come and visit because it's more affordable. I think it's better than Daytona Beach. There's more things to do and stuff downtown.
Well, we're going to talk about some calendar events for October. So we have a great calendar of events that we're going to go over here in a few minutes and tell you what's some really cool things going on in our area. And you can certainly get with Jamie about renting one of his Airbnbs because he's investing in Jacksonville Beach because it is such a prime area and our Jacksonville area is just growing and it's very popular for our investors are coming in and buying vacation homes here. So whether you're looking for an Airbnb, a vacation, a second home, a vacation rental, or just move to our beautiful state, reach out to us for sure. I did want to go, and I'll come back to these slides. Real quick, I'll kind of run down it. You guys can kind of see this data here. It's pretty cool. It kind of gives you our median sales price, how many homes have sold, and the inventory, active inventory, how much it's up and down from this time last year. So it's pretty cool for Duval County. Our median sales price for Duval County is $335,000 as a whole. Jacksonville's pretty big. And then St. Johns County, which is certainly, we work all over, but it's my stomping grounds for sure. We live in St. County. My office is in St. Johns County. So we certainly experts get really good schools in St. Johns County. So it's certainly a desirable area. And you can kind of see the difference as far as the new listings. We're up 27%. That's pretty significant. Even though our inventory is low, it is on the rise, and it kind of shows you just again, we're constantly studying this data. We do personal, if anybody, wants to reach out and wants a personal CMA or wants a personal newsletter just for their neighborhood, shoot me a DM or a message and I can certainly get you your own personal newsletter that will be delivered to you, and it'll be just on your neighborhood. So we will take the time as a team to just cater it to your particular neighborhood because, I need this important data to know what's going on in St. John's, but to me, I care about a lot where I invest and where my home is. So that newsletter is super valuable. So we'll get your address and send that over to you.
Do you think it's the schools? Do you think at the schools is like one of the biggest questions you get about what's great about St. Johns County? I feel like most of the buyers I have, that's like when I'm asking what's driving the move, where are you moving to St. Johns County? They all want to know.
Yeah, I mean, about the schools. This is why I moved to St. Johns County. My kids are off to college and graduate school and living their adult life now. But when I moved to St. Johns County, when they were in elementary school and they were in 3rd grade, that's why we moved there, is because of school. So it is a big driving force. Plus we have land over there. We're still growing in St. John's. It's right next to beautiful St. Augustine, which, is one of my favorite places. I spend a lot of time in St. Augustine because we have great little, wine bars and great little restaurants that are not, quite the Fern Bar. It's all, more catered to great chefs that come in. So we've got a lot of really great things to offer close to St. John's. Our beaches area, showing you guys a map here to kind of give you perspective of our area of Jacksonville. We are all beaches. Jacksonville is it's the largest city landmass wise in the United States. So it is a big stomping grounds to say the least. But we have so many different areas and suburbs. So, our population is not the largest, but our landmass is. So it gives you that little bit of comfort where we don't have quite as much traffic as some of the big metropolitan cities are. Our beaches, are prevalent. They're easy access. I mean, we run all the way from north, all the way from Fernandina down to Atlantic Beach and some of the areas here, Ponte Vedra Beach, St. John's area. So these are all areas that we're talking about, when talking about the Jacksonville area. Let's see here. Oh, and I'm not sure if, you know what? You guys didn't even see that, did you? Again, I'm new at this. See, I told you. Hold on.
Yeah, we see the welcome to our beautiful Northeast Florida beaches.
Yeah, I'm still learning and I'm going to do it just because I have to learn this stuff. So let's try to.
Right.
Okay, can y'all see this?
It's currently loading. At least it is on my screen.
There. Okay.
Yep.
So let's try this again. It kind of gives you a little bit of a better view. So you can see what I was talking about. Look at the top all the way down. Our Jacksonville is just huge landmass wise. And then we have all of our beautiful beaches. So super great areas. This is Jacksonville Beach right here where the star is, where Jamie was talking about. It's just a great vacation spot. We have Ponte Vedra Beach, which is St. John's County. So it's just a pretty cool, I love it. I moved away when I was as soon as I turned 20 years old. I've lived here since I was 12. And then I turned around and lived in Atlanta a year and a half and turned around and said, I'm going back home, and been here ever since. So certainly home. So let's see here. Sorry, guys, bear with me. Oh, there we go. I think I got it right. I'll get it back to you guys. So just to kind of talk about, I'll slide through here real quick so you can show you our different beaches and some of the information. Amelia Island is our northern area. It's got Amelia Island Plantation, Fernandina Beach. It's a great spot to visit. For Christmas time, it's absolutely beautiful there. We've got, the Big Talbot Island and Little Talbot Island State Park is very close to Fernandina. And on that side of the bridge, we've got a lot of really great fish camps over there. You got lots of water everywhere, so you can pull your boat at all of the little fish camps. These are beautiful, private, not as busy beaches. Huguenot Park is another at the tip, right before you go over the bridge to get to Jacksonville. So it's just a great day trip. Actually going to be in Fernandina Beach on Saturday, spinning, and my husband's playing golf, and the girls are going to do a day trip, enjoying shopping and hanging out in Amelia Island and Fernandina Beach. So it's just a really great area. And then south of that, as soon as you take the ferry over, we have our beaches that I had shown you on the map: Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, and very popular areas. Atlantic Beach and Neptune Beach share a square that has some of the best restaurants in Jacksonville in that area. Very walkable, a lot of bike riding, just a great area. Jacksonville Beach here is an area that, they got lots of water, volleyball courts, and just that beach feel. I love Jacksonville Beach. It's very casual. But there's a lot of great restaurants we're getting. Got some rooftop bars. We've got like 3 or 4 new restaurants, I think, that have opened up just in the last few months or 6 months. So certainly a popular destination. Ponte Vedra Beach is in St. Johns County. It bridges right next to Jacksonville Beach as you go south. And then, of course, our beautiful St. Augustine Beach. So much to offer in our area. I just... anybody has any questions about anything, certainly let us know. And then as far as I wanted to talk about some fun stuff, and I'll let Jamie take the stage again, to kind of get you guys thinking about, we're going to be giving, we're doing these live events every couple of weeks. And we're going to be bringing to you, live what's going on in our beautiful area. So, and some of the local things that we can tell you about, some little secret spots. So, these are some of the fun things going on in October for this year. So St. Augustine's got a food and wine festival. Excited about that.
A lot of wine festivals going on.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. You know, it's an Oktoberfest as well. You know, so you know, they got Jacksonville Festival. You guys, can you kind of tell a trend? You know, I like wine, so I put the wine stuff on here. No, just kidding. But you know, one of the things that I love to guys, if you visit St. Augustine, there's a couple little tricks here you may not know about, and some of my clients, I make sure they know about whenever we're closed. I say, if you're going to be going to St. Augustine, so the tourists, when they come in, they have to pay really high parking prices. If you are a local and you live here in St. Johns County, actually, I think it's Jacksonville. You have to call. I can verify that, but it's St. John's. You just have to go to get a parking pass as a local, and you'll show them your driver's license. And instead of paying like the $2 a minute, I'm kind of exaggerating, but it's expensive for parking. So instead of paying that, you can get a full day of parking for $6. So it's a little trick I like to tell my locals. So if I have any of my locals online right now and you live here, make sure if you're visiting St. Augustine, you know, that you check that out. Another thing that I love, they have the trolley bus that we love going on that. And it's a hop on, hop on. I've been living here for since I was 12, 15. Been living here a long time. And I still go on that trolley and do the hop on, off thing. So that's a lot of fun. And they're always running specials for Florida residents as well. So I just want to tell you that little secret as well. And they're about to do their trolley tour for their Christmas time. So those tickets sell out really quick, and it's such a fun thing to do with the family. So just wanted to mention that. They sing Christmas carols, and, you know, our, you know, lights are magnificent over, you know, in St. Augustine. It's the best
Absolutely.
light shows, yeah, in St. Augustine. So just wanted to share all that fun stuff too. I didn't want to forget to kind of go over some of the stuff with you as well, with everyone. So, and I think, Ken, you had asked a question. That chart that I was giving you, it's a comparison to last year, yeah, from September. So it kind of gives you an idea of the perspective. So we like to do the year-over-year comparison charts. And if you want your own personal year-over-year comparison or newsletter, Ken, I'll make sure to get that out to you. Yeah, Leanne, I see that. She loves the Night of Lights. We all do. We all wait for that to come. But I hope that answered your question, Ken. If you have a handicap sticker, you can park free at the public meters in St. Augustine. I didn't know that. Thanks for letting me know that. Okay. Thanks for letting us know that, Ken. Jamie, I kind of took away the conversation here to talk about some of this stuff. So let's.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I mean, again, I always think like it's always about the first step, right? So whenever you have any questions or interested about getting pre-approved, you just got to speak to your realtor, probably have some lender recommendations, and then have that initial conversation. Even if you're not ready to get your credit pulled, they can kind of ask more in-depth questions about your income. Are you self-employed? Where will the funds for closing be coming from? You can't use cash that's in a mattress in your house. Like, there's lots of little things that you just got to have that first initial conversation to know what steps you need to do to get yourself ready to buy a house. And hopefully we'll get my information out there. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. You can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, whatever it may be, and I'll be happy to help anyone and everyone.
Yeah, you guys, reach out to me. You got Jamie's number, reach out to me. I'll get you to Jamie as well. You can, if anybody has a shot of this, if you want to set up a quick discovery call with me, just to chat around about your dreams, your plans, eventually you're going to move. Maybe you're thinking about moving. Maybe you're just, you're thinking about retirement in a few years. We are about long-term relationships. So definitely let's just have a conversation and talk about your next real estate dream and what you're wanting to do. And then we can then kind of develop a plan and get you with Jamie and he can go over more of the financial talk as well. About some of the things. So, you can also, there should be a link in the description below that kind of gives you on my YouTube channel and all of my social media channels that will give you my Calendly link, and you can just pick a day and time that's convenient for you. And we'll just jump on Zoom and have a very informal conversation about your plans. So, Jamie, did you have anything else you wanted to mention?
No, I mean, I kind of, again, everyone's hoping that rates will drop by the second quarter of next year. Rates currently are around like 7.375, 7.5% for a conventional loan. That's with someone who has excellent credit. Excellent credit now is like 760 and above. If you're doing an FHA or VA loan, the rate's more like 7% to 7.25%. And again, these rates with this market, they're highly volatile. So we had 3 different pricing improvements today alone. So for 2 days in a row, we had the interest rates got higher. Then today they went back down. That's all within 24 hours. So it's really hard. Like even when you're getting pre-approved, you talk to one person, like here's the rate. 72 hours later, the rate could be higher or could be lower. It's just how this market's been this entire year. I've never seen anything like it. I've been doing this for 12 years.
Yeah, we're all navigating some interesting waters right now. I was talking to my buyers earlier. I'm like, it's wonky. We are in a wonky market. I'm posting Jamie's contact information in the chat as well for his cell phone number. Is that the number I give them, Jamie?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the only number I give out.
Okay. So, and I put my cell phone number there as well, just in case it's not showing up. And anybody wants to reach out, we are so casual. Like, we'll have a conversation with you anytime, and no pressure. Just if anybody has any real estate questions, we pride ourselves in being experts in our industry and our market as well. So, if everybody's, I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're going to have Jamie back on again, talking finance, because I think it's super important. We have another live event that we are going to be hosting on Thursday, October 19th. So stay tuned for information on that. We will always have more information, more data. We're going to be sharing more calendar events. We'll, be talking about our favorite restaurants, things to do in Jacksonville. So we super duper hope you enjoyed this segment of our live show. And we look forward to seeing you guys. Oh, before I shut down, again, I got 10 people. You guys, I'm hoping to pull people out and talk to us. So we've got 10 people that joined us so far. Thanks for the questions. If you guys, anybody has any questions before we shut down, let us know. And thanks, Ken, for the comments. And
yeah, love the questions, love the interaction.
I know.
Anyone has any questions, please let us know.
Yes. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time on October 19th. Look forward to hearing from you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.